I was going to start off this interview by saying, how about you introduce yourself? Like many of the men that come here and come on I'm a celebrity, Dwayne Morgan, that name resonates through this country. You're one of those individuals that walks into school to motivationally speak, and there's already a poster that is like heritage poster while you're alive. Flowers has got to mean something different to you than anybody else in here. What is your impression of flowers, getting them while you're alive from your brothers?
I think it's really important that we, set that up as a regular practice for a lot of us. We grow up and, we're not allowed to have emotions. We're not allowed to care about, other men. And I think it's really important that we kind of break that down and break that stigma and be like, yo, Regin, I love you. I'm proud of you because, there's so many of our young people, if you tell them that you're proud of them, they might like break out into tears because nobody said that to them ever.
Before.
You know what I mean? And they're just like, wow, here's somebody telling me that. So, I've had so many experiences where, I go to schools and I talk to young people and I'm like, yo, I see something in you. And it's like, you could tell that it's the first time anybody's ever said that they see something positive in them. And I think it's so important, as much as I've received flowers, I try to every day give flowers.
You're living that truth. As a brother to you, there's many occasions you've called me and said you see me, and I do the same with you. You and I don't have that flowers problem, but there's another thing that happens that I'm happy that I was able to walk with you through. I saw your grandmother as one of the people on the screens that transitioned. I know what she meant to you. I remember calling you and going through that transition period and kind of using my experience of losing someone on how to do it. And I remember you and your sister would always be going to the hospital to visit them and your grandfather. And I was like, go. Because everything you're not gonna want, everything you want to say later that you thought you forgot is your opportunity to do it now. How important is that now when we bring it into what we're doing with Mark, with Beloved, to let them know? I know what you said with the kids, but all the other guys, how important it is to just reach out and tell people.
I think it's fundamentally important because so many of us live with regret. Yeah. And we live holding on to the things that we never said. Right. And we question, why didn't I say it? I had the opportunity. Why didn't I go? So, people who are close to me know I hate hospitals.
I know.
But I had to push through just to go and see my grandparents because I didn't know how much time I had
left
with them, and I didn't want to live with the regret of I should have been there, because what else was I going to do?
Right.
I was going to be at home on social media doing nothing.
Right.
That's not going anywhere. They're going somewhere.
They're going somewhere.
And they're at a place where I know they're going somewhere soon.
Right.
So, I had to get over myself. And I had to be like, you know what? I need to go and sit here in a room, even if they're not even conscious enough to know that I'm there.
But just be that
because
presence.
It gave me peace,
Facts.
Knowing that I was there. And I don't have to live with that regret and not knowing how to deal with, the grief of never being able to say what needed to be said.
You said get over yourself. And you are Dwayne Morgan, and I know you're going to be like, Jay, cool, humble that. You're Dwayne Morgan. I'm going to use it in comparison to me being a comedian, coming up in the game, and there's another comedian I'm going to speak to, and he said something to me today that he stopped doing comedy, he was doing some more things in life, and he watched when I came up. And now it's my turn to watch who else is next coming up in the comedy game, considered Laugh Doctor. As a poet, you see Rando, and he's in your camp, and you are the one he looks up to, and you hear him bring those words to. How does it hit a little different from a perspective of one of the kings of poetry here, and you hear this young buck doing it? Tell me about the piece. What does it mean from your perspective?
Well, I think it's a great sense of pride, when you pour into people and watch them develop so that they can pour into others. I think that's ultimately what the point is. When you give somebody their flowers, you don't just hold the bouquet, you plant them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You let them grow into a garden.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's all part of that nourishing. And I think, one of the things is, we have some very successful, people who are gathered here today. And, for a lot of the young people who end up in the statistics that, Judge McLeod was talking about, they don't see a lot of this. And oftentimes the belief is when you tell them, oh, that person's a judge or that person's this, they're like, I could never be that. Like they're just conditioned in a reality. So one of the other things I think we have to do is when we're looking at giving flowers, not also just giving flowers when people reach the pinnacle of success,
Right.
but give flowers at every step of the journey.
On the way up.
You know what? You got 80% on that test. You usually get 60. I saw you got 80. Here's a flower for that.
Right.
Because when you give somebody that flower, they want the next one.
They do. It's
And
contagious.
I think that's a big piece of that. What a lot of the young people are missing out on, because you feel like success is only when you make it to the top.
Right.
But there's a whole journey,
Level.
right? And if you give flowers every step of the way, people start to get addicted to that feeling, and we could change those numbers and those statistics simply by how we choose to give those flowers.
Great. With that said, I love you, bro. You already know this.
Love you too, brother.
Love you, man. Dwayne Morgan, everybody.
I wanna give you your flowers right now.